Okay, here we are today, this time with the Dart Zone Scorpion. First things first, what you get the blaster, of course. You get the 20 dart chain that feeds it, and you get 20 of Dart Zone's super darts. Let's take a look at these darts first off. They're black with green tips. They're kind of soft, squishy material. For comparison, here's a regular Nerf Elite dart. As you can see, the super darts are shorter by a good bit. And just the difference in the tip. Actually, if anything, the Elite tip feels harder than the super darts. But anyway, and I'll leave this out because we will come back to that momentarily. Anyway, how the blaster itself operates. It is a fully automatic flywheel blaster. And I'll flip it over to this side. These two screws open up the side of the blaster, and you put in 6 AA batteries. See here, we have a on-off switch. And now, the way this blaster works is right here, got this switch, opens this up. You take your belt, you slip it over with the arrow pointing forward, of course. Close that, and presumably you have loaded this full of darts ahead of time, but it doesn't matter for right now. Anyway, then unfortunately one thing that Dart Zone didn't do with this blaster, which I guess cost-saving measure or whatever, unlike the current Nerf flywheels, there is no acceleration trigger to turn the motors on. It's literally just you do this, and then it's on. And I don't know how loud it's coming through on my mic, but for something in a quote-unquote covert ops line of blasters, it's not terribly stealthy. But anyway, you turn this on, and you pull the trigger, and turn that off to make sure you can hear me just fine. And as you can see, the belt automatically pulled through and darts would be firing out. And the other thing you probably noticed, which I'll show you a little clearer, is the front of it spins around like a Gatling blaster when you're holding the trigger. So kind of neat. Here, let me show you that. Okay, so that's pretty much that. And of course, it does have a handle up here to hang on to, but it is pretty small. I mean, you would certainly not compare the Nerf product that this conjures to mind is the Vulcan, and this is way smaller than that. But for the $20 price point, not half bad. One thing that I would like to point out that you run into, let me get this out here for a second. So we'll load up a couple darts. So we've got a few supers loaded in. And then, because it's, at least for me, it's a lot harder to find refills of the super darts. The only place I've ever seen, I think I've seen them, is Toys R Us. And they're not Dart Zone, they're Air Zone or something. So it's a little harder to source these if you need more. And so it could be very tempting, because Nerf's everywhere, to buy the Nerf darts. As you can see right there, the Nerf darts are much longer, as I already showed, and sit much longer when loaded into the belt. Now, that can lead to some problematic loading. I'll try and demonstrate it here. If you want a better demonstration of it sometimes working great, sometimes working terribly, definitely check out the range test video. I mean, check out the range test video anyway to see how this thing works in the real world. But I did attempt to do range testing of both the regular super darts it comes with and the Elite darts. But here, actually, let me do it on this side so you can see what's going to happen here. So turn it on, pull the trigger. And that time, it worked just fine. However, what can happen is because it sticks out a little farther, it'll hit on this part, and it'll make it go out of alignment a bit, and then it just gets all weird. It doesn't feed. What'll end up happening is how this blaster works is there is a pusher. I don't know how well. You won't be able to see the pusher, but there's a hole right there that a pusher comes out that pushes the dart forward into the flywheels. And what'll happen a lot of the time, or at least half the time, with firing Nerf darts out of this thing, is it won't work properly, and then the pusher will get stuck in the holes in the back of the belt. The belt won't be able to advance, and you've just got a huge mess on your hands. So anyway, so if you buy this, you really want to try and find the super darts for it. Don't run Nerf darts through it as much as possible. Anyway, so there you have it, the Dart Zone Scorpion. As I already was talking about, make sure to head on over, check out how this thing does out in the real world, what kind of ranges it gets. It says 70 foot on the box, but how does that stack up? And there you go. As always, thanks for watching. And then it's on. And I don't know how loud it's coming through on my mic, but for something in a quote-unquote covert ops line of blasters, it's not terribly stealthy. But anyway, you turn this on.